here on each side of the skull. This area is called temporal fossa. The temporal fossa margined or limited, or it has boundary. The boundaries, superior border we have here. Here superior is defined or limited by two faint lines called temporal line. This temporal line start or arch across the zygomatic arch, superiorly backward to posterior to attach or posterior to this region, which is the supramastoid crest. And we have laterally here, limited. The fossa is laterally limited by the fascia. It's called temporalis fascia, or sorry, it's called temporal fascia. The temporal fascia is rough, tough fascia overlying the temporalis muscles. We have this in temporal fascia, temporal fossa. We have muscle. So this muscles is covered or limited by laterally by fascia. It's called temporal fascia. And inferiorly, we have inferiorly by zygomatic arch. Inferior by zygomatic arch, marked by zygomatic arch laterally, and the medially inferiorly here, this area is by inframastoid crest, infratemporal crest. The infratemporal crest is the inferior margin medially, inferior margin medially. This is part of the greater wing of sphenoid bone. This part is sphenoid bone, greater wing of sphenoid bone. So this area is infratemporal crest, which is the medially limited or marked of the temporal fossa. We have anterior border of the temporal fossa. The anterior border of temporal fossa is limited by the posterior surface here, the posterior surface of frontal process, this frontal process of zygomatic bone, and the posterior surface of the zygomatic process of frontal bone. So these two processes, as the posterior surface of this process is the anterior border of the temporal fossa. The content of the temporal fossa, as I mentioned previously, we have large muscles. These muscles is temporalis muscles. So this is my main structure, which is occupied in this area. This red color is mean the origin of temporalis muscles. Actually, it's in this area, in here area. And we have another structures that present here, which is the deep temporal nerves, and the deep temporal arteries, and the middle temporal arteries. All these structure present in the temporal fossa. This about the temporal fossa. So we have another video about the inferior temporal fossa. This is all about the temporal fossa. Thank you very much.